everyone. So I wanted to talk about a story that's been really popular throughout the last few days, and now this is revolving around the Boy Scouts of America potentially having to file for bankruptcy. The reason why they could be facing bankruptcy could be for all kinds of different reasons, but one of the main reasons it's really talked about right now would be all the mounting legal costs against defending themselves against alleged sexual abuse to boys. Leaders of the Boy Scouts have hired law firm Sidley Austin LLP for assistance with a possible Chapter 11 filing. The Boy Scouts was founded back in 1910, and ever since then, they said that there's been 110 million people to join. So basically, they've joined through their educational programs, which has to offer outdoor skills, character building, and leadership skills. Last year, the organization was facing massive pressure from the left. You know how the left is, so they started pressuring the Boy Scouts, and basically this resulted in them making a name change so that they could appeal more to girls joining their program so that they can seem, basically politically correct. I'm sorry, but your program has been officially destroyed by the Democrats. Political correctness is the downfall of our society. In a woman's perspective, I don't think that there's any men groups anymore. I don't think anyone really gives a men group a chance because right away they say that they have to allow women in the group. But for example, why is it okay for there to be Girl Scouts as a name, but it's not okay to have Boy Scouts as a name? Wouldn't it go both ways, saying that Girl Scouts would have to accept boys and boys would have to accept girls? Even though I'm not okay with that, I totally think that girls and boys, they need to have their space. I really do. I think that they do need to have their space. They should be allowed to have that space. Not all the time, but whenever they want to have that way to learn different types of skills to develop. They are trying to weaken men in our country. By doing this, they use third wave feminism. They'll use a lot of brainwashing going on in colleges. And another form is by doing this, by trying to break apart every single type of men group, every single type of boy group, so that they can't develop the skills to be a man later on. And I'm not saying that these clubs, you necessarily would have to do that, but that's kind of the whole entire reason why they exist, to have different skills developed with either a girl or a boy. I believe that both men and female, they deserve to have their own individual clubs. It's not wrong to be wanting to be alone with your own sex. Women, they do that all the time. They get away with that. They can do the Women's March. They can have all kinds of different events that I don't even want to go on with because if you continue the list, it's endless. But when you try to have any type of men that want to be alone ever, they start going crazy and pretending like it's some type of a bad thing. It should be shameful. It should be looked down upon. And it shouldn't. It's like people are so worried about women equality, but they never stop to realize that as you are preaching and preaching more and more for that, you're actually ruining men's rights. When I was little, I was in the Daisies, then I was in the Brownies, and I was going to move up to be a Girl Scout myself. But I decided not to do this because I wanted to continue doing soccer, and it just didn't fit my little schedule that I had at the moment to fit all that into once. It would be very cramped for me at such a young age. And what I started really liking about being in something like Brownies and Daisies is you were able to sell cookies, you had tea nights, you were making arts and crafts with the girls, and a lot of camping trips with the girls. It was really fun. For Boy Scouts, they learn how to make fires, they learn how to go camping, and I can imagine all kinds of other outdoor activities. I don't really know exactly what the Boy Scouts do, but stuff the little boys do. And they're basically doing that, and they're just having a good time. I believe that you should just leave kids out of the whole political correctness thing. I don't think that they should be affected with this on all types of levels. They're too young to even understand in the first place. So just let boys be boys and just let girls be girls. And before you try to frame it as I'm saying, like, boys have to be a certain way, girls have to be a certain way, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think that, they can act however they want. It's not weird. girls aren't labeled as like a tomboy. That's not even a thing anymore, really. Like, girls can just do whatever they want when they're younger. If you want to play with a monster truck, or if you want to play with Barbie, whatever. And it's the same way with a boy nowadays. That's how we are modernly raised. But the thing is, they still deserve to have their individual time alone together if they want. There's no problem with anyone that's mad about this just going to start their own non-profit type of organization where they can make it like Adventure Club or something, have boys and girls in it, and that's up to them. But as of right now, we have Girl Scouts and we have Boy Scouts, and you're just not going to change that because you want to shape it a certain way to match how you feel. Even if you have successfully got Boy Scouts to change their names to Scouts now, there will be another group eventually, and you just can't stop that. I don't think it's right. Even if everyone in America is like, yeah, you can't start another group. I mean, I just think that people have their rights to. Maybe it will fail completely. Maybe we will never be able to have any men's groups or boys groups. I think that's horrible, but why? Why are people not fighting for this at the same time? You can't just try to destroy every single thing that guys have. Recently, this caused a conflict with the Mormon Church. They cut ties back in May. So it was over 100 years that they actually had a relationship with the Boy Scouts of America. This is very important because Mormons make up a great amount of the members that are actually in the Boy Scouts. So when they cut the ties, it's dramatically hurt the Boy Scouts. And I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm siding with the Mormons or whatever, but I kind of am, because they did change their whole entire statement, what they stand for too. So when they started changing their values and their programs, then the Mormons are like, okay, well, that's not what we've signed up for. That's not what our relationship is that we've had for over 100 years. Therefore, we have to stop this. The situation that happened with the Boy Scouts is very similar to what happened with the gender-neutral bathrooms. I believe that this was something that was really forced upon a lot of people. People didn't really have that much to say against it. It was either you are for it or you're not, and if you're not for it, then you're a bad person. It was very framed like that you would be shamed upon if you're in disagreement. Now, something that I have an issue with is that I don't think that, if you do have certain transgenders that are going in a women's bathroom, I think a lot of people have issues with that. As tough as this is to say that there could be imposters, whether it's in the bathroom and you have a man pretending to be like he's transgender to go in the bathroom, that could be an issue. Or you could actually have an issue back at the Boy Scouts if you have somebody that is the opposite sex being a leader. That's just the truth. And you don't want to have those kind of situations happen, so you have to stop that before it's even a possibility. It could be devastating to think what could potentially happen to women in the bathroom with something like this could actually happen to younger boys or girls. Anyways, I want to thank all my viewers for following along with this video, and I really appreciate you for listening to what I had to say. Looks like that's all I have for tonight's video. Make sure to check out my other videos. There's a lot going on there, a lot of crazy news and different stories. So I will see you next time, and stay tuned.